Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Race 9 at Ellis Park on Sunday is the $100,000 Ellis Park Derby. We're going a mile, obviously, for 3-year-olds, and it's a nice race, a race that you can play with the DRF Bets account. I'll let you. And I'll also give you a $100 deposit match. DRF.com/bet is where you go for all the details. Let's meet the field for the Ellis Park Derby. We'll kick things off with Super Steed, who is already a graded stakes winner this year. He took the Southwest, coming with a big, wide move on the turn, and he kept right on going. Unfortunately for Cowboy Larry Jones, this horse got hurt after the race, missed all of the Triple Crown events. He has been working bullets at Ellis Park for his return.
Yeah, I know he was a big price, and I know that there was a pretty quick pace. Southwest, this horse ran really well that day. Is he going to run that well off the layoff? I don't know, and I don't really love his running style where he tries to come from out of it, but if he takes a step forward, this field might be in trouble.
The number 2 Whiskey Echo is a useful, not great 2-year-old. Came back off a long layoff with a useful, not great performance at Churchill, but a race that you could build on. Do you think Steve Asmussen just really shot for the moon in the Dwyer? Because that was a real tough spot for him. I think this is actually better, and I like his post position because he can break and settle into a good ground-saving, pace-tracking trip.
Yeah, I'd be willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess. Obviously, he didn't run well last time in a tougher race. I actually thought he ran really well off that layoff back in May. He's got enough pedigree to stretch out. He's got enough speed to get forward. There are things to like about this horse.
And 5-1 on the morning line certainly looks fair. Carte Blanche has been knocking on the door in his last few races for Wes Hawley, a guy that knows how to claim horses and improve them. Remember Hawakam, and a couple of others. Yeah. This horse has some interesting figures. The race at Churchill behind 12th Labor was okay. He should get some pace to run at, but he has to improve.
Yeah, he just has to improve. I'd be willing to use this horse underneath maybe, Dan. I'd have a tough time using him on top.
Gray Magician made my money disappear in the UAE Derby. I bet him that day. It was real wide. I got beat by Pluska Parfait. That was a tough beat. He probably didn't belong in the Kentucky Derby. And then after that race, he came out of it with, I believe he bled in that race. The Indiana Derby was an okay performance. Ricardo Santana Jr. was able to save ground. He eased out in between horses on the turn. And listen, he's just not getting a Mr. Money, who's certainly becoming one of the up-and-coming leading lights in the 3-year-old division. I like Gray Magician cutting back in distance. I think he can work out a nice second flight trip under Corey.
Yeah, shorter can work for him. I thought he ran fine last time. I don't know, Dan, did you think the loose horse in that race compromised him at all? If he had that loose horse right in front of him in the stretch, I didn't think it mattered.
No.
He did fine in that race. I'm not as big a fan of his as you are. As the favorite, I'd be willing to take a shot against him, but I would have to use him somewhere.
12th Labor's won 2 out of his last 3 races for Dallas Stewart, and Dallas gets these late developing horses. Seeking the Soul comes to mind. Around this time of year, these 3-year-olds for the Stewart barn really seem to take a big step forward, and maybe that's the case with 12th Labor, who was an okay winner last time out with an 86 buyer. I think there's a forward move in him.
I do too. I liked that win last time. He was close to the pace the entire way. He was 4 wide every step of the way. He kept going through the stretch. That was a big step forward, I thought, last time.
You cashed out on Harvey Wallbanger when it counted. 30-1 in the Holy Bull, getting the setup, getting the trip, getting the great ride from Brian Hernandez Jr. Florida Derby, utter toss. In against Maximum Security, no pace in the race. Lexington, had to admit, little disappointed with that performance. Oak Lawn Invitational, maybe not the greatest trip, little disappointed with that performance. I like that Kenny McPeak gave him time, Mike.
I like that he gave him time too, and I like that they've lowered their sights with him a little bit to run in races like this. He can win this race, Dan. I don't love him. He's a horse that can win this race, obviously, though.
Night Ops is the number 7, going out for Brad Cox. Good second in the Oak Lawn Invitational, 3 starts back, then came back with a win at Churchill. I can't find the excuse, though, for the Iowa Derby where he was the beaten favorite. Have we seen his best?
Yeah, I think we might have, Danny. Listen, I'll give him credit for the improved form since Cox took over. He's just another horse in here. I guess if he was around his morning line price, I won't argue, but I didn't like him that much.
Mike, the 8 Skenfrit without a rider ran something like a 101 buyer last time out. Do you look at it that way?
What do you think? No, I don't. Listen, his 2 races prior to that, though, were career best for him, so maybe he's just headed the right way.
He does also have a little bit of tactical speed, and it really seems like he's improved with out the blinkers around 2 turns. The 9 Cabot's very interesting because I think he has the pedigree to stretch out, and it looks like Ron Moquett was prepping for this race at Ellis last time out, going 6. The way he runs in the stretch, he's kind of a grinding style. It makes me think the mile's all right, and if you think the speed of Nick's Go is, we'll take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector. If you think the speed of Nick's Go is not the speed of Nick's Go from a 2-year-old, he's going to be sitting second ready to pounce and maybe takes this thing over when the real running begins.
Yeah, I agree with that. This horse has plenty of speed to get forward in here. I liked, I don't know what happened in the Chick line. I don't even know what to say about that race where he just couldn't keep up. Other than that, he's shown good speed, and I liked his win last time. I like how they put him in behind horses and he held his position. Once he got clear, he made a nice run to get up in there. This horse has a lot of upside, I think.
Let's talk about Nick's Go. He's expected to make the lead on our Timeform US Pace Projector. He is a Grade 1 stakes winner, game second in last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Is it merely a situation where he was one of those early 2-year-olds that just didn't go on? Because you look at his last races, and I know he's been in against tough horses, Mr. Money and Owendale, but boy, he hasn't been good.
Yeah, he really hasn't. I don't really know what to say about him. We'll see if he can get back on form here. And I'm actually a little surprised they haven't tried to sprint him again since early in his career, because he's so fast, and it just feels like he's not finishing his races anymore.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Ellis Park Derby. It is a 100 grander. It is race number 9. You like Cabot. He's a nice price. Could get the right trip.
Yeah, I'm just going to bet him to win in here. I went 9, 2, 4, and 5.
You know I love Gray Magician. I'm going to give him one more chance to pull a rabbit out of his hat. I think Super Steed's going to run well off the layoff, off those fast works. I went 4, 1, 5, 6. Ellis Park Derby, race 9 at Ellis Park. You can take advantage of the DRF Bets promo. Sign up, get that $100 deposit match at drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for the Derby. The Ellis Park Derby, 4:40 Central. Best of luck.